It's here 6-3, 6-4.
Everyone walked away from Bad Hamburgg talking about the score. Nobody stopped long enough to talk about what the score actually meant. A match ended. The crowd clapped. The news cycle moved on the way it always does, chasing the next headline before the last one has even cooled. But what went down on that grass court in Germany wasn't just a result. It wasn't a warm moment between a legend and a promising kid. It was a signal, and if you didn't catch what that signal was saying underneath the surface, you missed the most quietly earth-shattering thing to happen in women's tennis all year. A 17-year-old from the Philippines stepped onto a surface that humbles grown professionals. She stood beside a woman with 7 Grand Slam titles to her name. And then she did something nobody saw coming, nobody had scripted, and nobody who watched. It can walk back, this is that story, but to get there, to really get there, we have to go somewhere uncomfortable first. We have to go to the part of Alex's journey that doesn't end up in the highlight packages. Because the girl who showed up at Bad Hamburgg didn't stumble her way there on natural talent alone. She earned her way there through something harder, longer, and quieter than most people realize. Most casual tennis fans know the broad strokes. Young, Filipino, exciting, rising. They've caught the clips. They've skimmed the articles. They've absorbed the outline. But the outline isn't the story. The story lives inside the specific moments, the early mornings in a country where tennis isn't woven into the culture, where the infrastructure doesn't clear a path for you, where every single opportunity has to be carved out by hand because the road simply doesn't exist yet. Becoming a world-class tennis player anywhere is hard. Becoming one in the Philippines means doing everything twice as hard for half the recognition. For years before anyone outside junior tennis even learns your name. Alex did that, without asking for applause, without waiting for the world to notice. She kept showing up. That context matters. Because what happened at Bad Hamburgg wasn't a beginning, it was a convergence point. Every hour of footwork drills, every late night working on volleys, every decision made under pressure in matches nobody filmed. It all arrived at one moment, on one grass court, and said, this is what it was all for. Now let's talk about Venus, because Venus is the layer of this story that changes everything else. When the doubles pairing was announced, the reaction was predictable. People smiled. They called it lovely. A living legend alongside a rising star. What a beautiful image. And then, almost immediately, they started quietly running the numbers in their heads. How long before the gap between them showed up on the court? How long before Venus became the real story and Alex became the charming side note, the subplot that got a polite round of applause before reality settled in? That assumption was sitting underneath every early conversation about this match. And then reality showed up and had completely different plans. Because Venus Williams walking onto a grass court is not Venus Williams the symbol. It is not Venus Williams the historical artifact. It is Venus Williams the competitor. And those are entirely different things. The moment she stepped on that court, her body language said everything her press quotes never would. She didn't come to Germany to be gracious. She came to win. Her serve in those opening games wasn't nostalgic. It was sharp, deep, deliberately aggressive. The kind of serve that compresses time on the other end of the net, that removes options before the returner's brain has even processed they had any. Her movement was crisp. Her court awareness was switched fully on. Whatever assumptions people had about where Venus is right now, they were probably wrong. But here's the thing, nobody was braced for. Venus wasn't the most surprising person on that court. Sit with that for a second. Because when you go back and actually watch those early games, when you track the ball and the players and the decisions happening in real time, there is a specific, undeniable moment where it becomes clear that the 17-year-old isn't just keeping pace. She's contributing in ways that shouldn't logically exist yet. Grass does something to players that no other surface does. The ball stays low in ways that punish any hesitation. The pace is brutal in ways that expose every technical gap you haven't yet sealed. Your footwork has to be so deeply instinctive that conscious thought is no longer part of the equation. Because on grass, there's no time for conscious thought. Experienced players have described it as the surface that finds everything you've been hiding. Every flaw, every mental soft spot, every gap between what you believe you can do and what you can actually do under fire. And then it uses those things against you without the slightest apology. Veterans struggle on grass. Talented young players routinely look completely lost on grass. It typically takes years of high stakes, repeated exposure before a player starts moving on it with any kind of genuine ease. Alex is 17, and she looked easy out there in ways that had no business existing. Watch her footwork in those early games, and you're watching someone who has done deep, specific, fully internalized work. The small adjustments on low balls, the weight transfer on approach shots, the split-second reads on when to attack and when to hold back, not as calculated decisions, but as automatic responses. Muscle memory that's gone somewhere permanent. That's not performance. That's not a fluke. That's the result of work that went deep enough to become part of how she plays, rather than something she has to consciously recall in the middle of a point. But even knowing all that, nothing fully prepared the crowd for what happened when the pressure actually arrived. Harrison and Osborne were not passive opponents. They were experienced, physical, and they walked onto that court with a plan. And for a stretch, that plan started working. The first set had gone to Alex and Venus, 6-3. Clean, controlled, the kind of set that sends a message. But the second set opened differently. Harrison and Osborne came back with something shifted in them. More willing to gamble, more willing to push. And they made a choice that's as old as doubles tennis itself. When you're facing a legend beside a younger player, you find the younger player and you test her. They targeted Alex deliberately, repeatedly, in the exact moments when the pressure was highest. They were looking for the line between confidence and composure, and they were trying to push right through it. They wanted to take a 17-year-old, pile everything on her, the adrenaline, the stakes, the crowd, the moment, and ask her one blunt, direct question: are you actually here? Or are you just visiting? The match tightened. Games stretched longer. Rallies became battles. The crowd got quiet in that specific way. Crowds go quiet when something uncertain is developing, and nobody can yet tell which way it's going to fall. And in that quiet, in that held breath of genuine uncertainty, Alex did something not immediately, not with any kind of announcement. She let the pressure come to her. She absorbed it. And then, in the middle of the longest rally of the match, at the moment that carried the full weight of everything, she produced a shot that had no business existing. The angle was wrong. Her court position made it nearly impossible. Every variable was working against her. And she hit it anyway. Clean, unreachable. The crowd didn't just applaud. They erupted in that very specific sound. That mixture of noise and laughter and collective disbelief that happens when a group of people have just witnessed something and all have the exact same question at the exact same moment. How did she see that? How did she get there? How is a 17-year-old answering pressure like this on a grass court in Germany? And Venus noticed. Venus has spent decades on professional courts. She stood beside some of the greatest players this sport has ever produced. She knows what a statement looks like. She knows what it feels like when someone on your side of the net decides, quietly, completely, with no announcement, that they are not losing today. She looked at Alex in that moment. Brief, understated. But if you were watching closely enough, you caught it. And what it said, without a single word, without any ceremony at all, was simply, "This you belong here." Now let's talk about what was actually happening between them throughout this match. Because this is the part that never shows up in score updates. Court chemistry in doubles takes weeks to build, sometimes months. You can train alongside someone every day and still feel disconnected the moment real match pressure arrives, because training isn't pressure, and pressure changes everything. But what was forming between Alex and Venus on that court was visible to anyone paying close enough attention. They were communicating in the way that only happens when two players are genuinely, instinctively reading each other, not just in words between points. In positioning, in timing, in those tiny, almost invisible adjustments that only happen when trust is real rather than performed. One takes the line, the other covers the cross, formed. One takes the line, the other covers the cross, not because it was drawn up beforehand, because they felt it. Because when two players are fully locked in together, tactics stop being decisions and start being instincts. That kind of chemistry forming this fast, at this level, under this pressure, is not normal. And the fact that it happened tells you something profound about both of them. About Venus, who draws that kind of responsiveness out of people who are genuinely ready for it. And about Alex, who was genuinely ready for it at 17 in a way that should make anyone following her career stop and recalibrate their entire timeline. Because here is what isn't. Being said loudly enough, Alex is no longer a story about potential. Potential is the word people use when they see something real but need more time before they'll commit to it. What happened at Bad Hamburgg was not potential, it was proof. Real, match-tested, pressure-earned proof. Delivered on the surface that exposes everything, against opponents who came ready and tried to take it from her, in a match where there was nowhere to hide if she wasn't actually ready. She was ready. She passed every test the match put in front of her. The grass court footwork test, the composure test, the respond when you're being targeted test, the produce something extraordinary when the moment demands it test, all of them. In one afternoon, on a court in Germany, and Wimbledon hasn't even started yet. Let that sentence sit for a moment. Because if you understand what Bad Hamburgg meant, if you truly understand the level of what was demonstrated, then the idea of Alex walking into Wimbledon, carrying this confidence, this momentum, this specific self-knowledge she didn't have 3 months ago, that should create a very precise feeling in you, not general optimism, not vague hope. A specific, evidence-based anticipation rooted in exactly what you just watched happen. But the deepest part of this story isn't the tennis. The tennis is the surface. What's underneath it is something more permanent. There's something that happens when a young player lives through a moment like the one Alex lived through at Bad Hamburgg. Something that training cannot replicate, that practice cannot simulate, that no coach in the world can drill into existence. It has to be lived in a real match with real stakes against opponents who are genuinely trying to take it from you, because almost every young player carries a voice. It doesn't matter how talented they are. It doesn't matter how many people believe in them. The voice is there, quiet, persistent, never fully gone. And what it keeps asking, over and over, in different moments in different ways, is the same essential question: are you actually good enough for this? Not in training, not in the environments where confidence comes easy. In the real version, the version where everything is on the line and the surface is exposing everything and the moment is too big to fake your way through. That voice doesn't need reassurance. It doesn't need encouragement. It needs evidence. Real, undeniable, fire-tested evidence that the answer is yes. Alex got that evidence at Bad Hamburgg, on the most exposing surface in the sport. With Venus Williams beside her, against opponents who came ready and tried their best to take it away. And once a player has that evidence living inside them, once they've felt what it actually feels like to stand in the fire and not burn, the game changes. Not gradually, not incrementally, in jumps. Because every layer of self-knowledge accelerates, every layer that comes after it. Think for a moment about where she came from. Because it's easy to watch a young player performing at this level and assume the road here was relatively clear. It wasn't. Growing up in the Philippines and becoming a serious professional tennis player requires a specific kind of belief that goes far beyond talent. It requires the conviction that the obstacles are worth clearing even when you can't yet see what's on the other side. It requires people around you who share that belief completely and sacrifice alongside you. And it requires the player to keep choosing the game, over and over, in difficult conditions, on difficult courts, against difficult opponents, when the easier path is always right there. Alex chose the game. Every single time. And Bad Hamburgg was the moment when every one of those choices arrived somewhere visible. When everything built in private showed up in public on one of the sport's most unforgiving stages and said, "Look, this is real." The scoreline, 6-3, 6-4, doesn't tell you what those two sets actually contained. It gives you the destination, not the journey. The journey was a psychological story compressed into one beautiful, difficult, revealing afternoon. It had the early chemistry, the mounting pressure, the moment where everything tightened and the match could have gone either direction. It had the opponents targeting the youngest person on that court. It had Alex's answer. The shot that shouldn't have existed, the crowd erupting, Venus turning, and then the match shifting the way matches shift when one side decides, completely and finally, that they are not losing, and the other side feels that decision being made. Then the last break, the handshakes, the walk off the court, and Alex knowing something about herself that she didn't know when she walked on. Here's the final thing. The thing that has been true throughout this entire story, but becomes most visible right here at the end. That girl who walked off the court at Bad Hamburgg, carrying new self-knowledge, grass court momentum, and a developing partnership with one of the greatest to ever play this game. She is still 17 years old. She is at the beginning. Everything that just happened, as remarkable as it was, is the opening chapter of something that's going to take years to fully unfold. And the people who believed in her earliest, who saw her when she was barely a name outside junior tennis circles, who understood that what she had went deeper than any highlight reel could capture, those people are watching Wimbledon approach with a very specific kind of feeling. Not surprise, not shock, the quiet satisfaction of watching something they already knew become something the entire world is just starting to understand. What does it look like? When a teenage girl from the Philippines stands on a grass court in Germany next to one of the greatest tennis players who ever lived and shows the world exactly who she is, you just watched it. And Wimbledon hasn't even started yet.